Welcome to Game Soup. It's a game design podcast where we throw ideas in a pot and see what's cooking. I'm Chloe Montgomery.
And I'm Kayla Dice.
We're just back from Dragonmeet. We're full of cold and we've got sore throats and
I'm in the peak of health. It's great.
Well, me and Alyssa...
My flu jab got cancelled and I'm still fine. I apparently have a bad immune system according to what doctors tell me, and yet, this has never been borne out by reality where I very rarely get sick.
I have the most dog shit immune system, I'm not going to lie. I was one of the first people to get the COVID jab, and I get sick every winter. So, at least now I can blame conventions.
Yeah, true. That sucks. Maybe I should stop the part where I brag about my great immune system. I don't know. It was really annoying when I realized, that I have a, chronic fatigue condition, because I was like, oh, but my immune system was so good.
It's okay. If you're following along with the Chloe is sick arc, I'm going for a scan on Friday for my immune system to see why I'm tired all the time. So,
hey, I hope
like and subscribe if you want to find out what's wrong with me.
Do you ever see that Tumblr post, which is, I have this errant fantasy where I collapse on the street, and then I'm rushed to hospital, and they tell me that I've been deficient of this one vitamin, and then I'm given the vitamin, and all of my problems go away.
I think I've had that fantasy. I don't know if I've...
Right, I mean, I have. I know I have. I was like, oh, that's a funny joke to one of my friends, and they were just like, yeah, I saw you reblog that, and I just felt kind of sad.
I've just been not eating enough fudge. If I ate enough fudge, that'd be good.
And everyone would admire you. They'd say it in sort of concern, but also deep appreciation of, oh my god, she'd been going without fudge this whole time.
Yeah. It's like everyone's been secretly eating lots of fudge to keep them sane.
Oh.
But not even fudge, it'd be something so simple, like some brand of cheese or something.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, if the reveal was oh, you need to eat this specific food, if it's a food I didn't like, I'm like, oops. Unfortunately, I guess I'm just going to have to power through this. How was your Dragonmeet? I mean, we hung out.
We hung out a lot. It was slower than last year's. I think that's possibly because of train strikes. Big up the union, but also, can you do it on a different weekend, guys? I don't know if that's the message we want to be sending, but...
You can send the message.
Look,
it won't be the
I
official
respect unions. There is a power in a union, etc.
I always love that anytime someone complains about any minor inconvenience caused by train strikes. If I said it's if I'm ever oh sorry, I was a bit late to work because of the train strikes, and then 3 seconds later, just want to make it clear I do really support the strikes though.
No, I'm absolutely that. We got the megabus up and down, so we weren't even inconvenienced for travel. I mean, other than all the whole palaver in the bus, but don't worry about
the inconvenience of the bus.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It was quieter. I like it when it's busy, you know?
Yeah. I did some... So a UK Games Expo when I was working on the Soul Muppet store.
Yeah.
I did some micro-targeting. If people were walking past who I don't know, had a pronoun badge on or had a rainbow flag or something, I'd just be shouting out basically, hey, how would you feel about learning about a game called Transgender Deathmatch Legend?
See, who was it that made Lichcraft? Was that Laurie?
Yeah.
Yeah, Laurie's got that on lock. I think every trans person in the country has that game now.
Yeah. Oh, why did you think he was saying afterwards? He's like, yeah, I think too many people have this
said
game
in the newsletter, yeah.
Keep bringing to conventions. Yeah, I kept trying to pitch that as a double bill to people.
It's a good
But the thing is, I feel the crowd of Dragonmeet was I don't know, I'd have felt slightly more awkward doing that as a shout out because I'm I feel like I may just be singling a person out.
Yeah.
If they were close to me, I might bring it up because I've noticed them. But I did then what feels like the polar opposite of that, where I was talking to two guys and I clocked partway through. I was like, you're a bit laddie. And then so I just went in on pitching the Infinite Dance or being you ever been on a shit and messy night out? Way, lads. It worked. I made the sale.
We had a person who came up with a stand who was in cosplay for, I'm going to assume their D&D character. Probably somebody from Critical Role or some shit. But they were with a group of people who were also in cosplay who were a boyfriend and girlfriend. The person who came to our stand, while they were at another stand, was talking about I just need a game where I have a hot goth mommy dom. It's like, I don't have that. I don't know where Alyssa is. I think she's playing a game right now somewhere else. Sorry about that. Can't get her to pitch games to you. But she's not that, but like she kind of has that air of putting it on. So like it's a good sales tactic. I don't give a shit.
She feels quite goth coded for a person who's not that goth.
Yeah. Like, did you ever meet her when she had white hair? She's definitely a lot more goth when she had the white hair.
I think the first time we met, she still had either the white hair or maybe some remnants of it.
Yeah, I mean, she does still kind of have a little bit of skunk white in the bottom, but
like, because we met at Dragonmeet 2 years ago.
Yeah, oh, well, she probably would have had it then.
Yeah, so I think but then by the time I saw her that like last year, I think it was mainly gone by then.
Yeah. We'll put a picture of Alyssa in the show notes or something, I guess.
Just put a picture of our girlfriend in the show notes. Just be like, look at her.
like that time we did the Scott Pilgrim thing, we'll just put a picture of her over the logo.
She's the game soup mother today.
Anyway, at Dragonmeet, I realised in the last 10 minutes of Dragonmeet that we'd not done a podcast on the show floor like we promised. So, I mean, we were both exhausted and didn't have time to do it anyway.
Yeah, Friday was sort of our opportunity to do a recording, and we tired ourselves out
all day in London. My Pikmin told me I did 15,000 steps that day.
It was a nice day. I think like the trade-off was worth it. But yeah, it meant like I was not in a physical.
I think I got in and fell asleep immediately after eating my chips. So
yeah. Also, it was late when we got back.
Yeah,
it was not like early. It's just us talking about our weekend now. We didn't do it, baby. You started going attack podcasting.
Yes, I invented attack podcasting. It's real, and I can hurt you with it.
So we have a series of clips of you grabbing words from different people, and probably we'll get at least, I reckon, 2 or maybe 3 weeks out of episodes.
Yeah, I think we can make this a thing. Like, so as an explainer, what I did last 10 minutes of Dragonmeet, it's kind of quieting down. People are starting to like clear up, and I'm running up to people that I kind of know and being like, "Hey, do you want to be on our podcast?" Like a total psychopath, and like saying, "Hello, I'm ambushing you. Can I record you?" It's like there was always a moment of shock, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, okay." So here is our first clip.
Yes.
It's Game Soup live at Dragonmeet. Can I get a random word? Eric from Peregrine Coast.
Cheese.
Cheese. Thank you very much, Eric.
Cheers. So we have cheese from Eric.
Yeah, Eric's a good lad. I love his glasses. Their glasses. I don't know Eric's pronouns. Apologies.
Do you want to do a quick check and then a re-record if necessary?
Let's have a look. Evergreen.
I think you're right. But I've now stuck my claim to I'm getting embarrassed if we're wrong as well.
Be him. We're in the clear.
Oh,
Let's edit this whole bit out. Yeah.
I picked up Talk from Eric's stall.
Yeah, I got Barkeep on the Borderlands for a friend. We have some stuff on Peregrine Coast as well, so check the website.
Yeah. Talk by Williams was like
that's the car game,
biggest
right?
game I bought. Otherwise, I picked up. Yeah, it's Cars. It looks cool. I've read like a bit of it so far, and I really like how the character creation stuff works. I also otherwise mainly picked up zines. So we got cheese, and now.
Well, live at Dragonmeet. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lily. I'm working at Free League.
Cool. Give me a random word.
Cookie.
Thank you very much.
So, Lily was a random person on the Free League stand. To be clear, Free League are like the biggest company at Dragonmeet. Like, absolutely no designers from Free League were at Dragonmeet. It was all people they hired.
Yeah, I mean, Free League's also more of a like it's mainly like a publisher as well.
Yeah.
So I think like most of the big games that have been designed by like. I don't know why I'm saying this. I have no idea on Free League's inner workings. But I'm sort of like, I don't necessarily know if they have like staffed designers.
Tales from the Loop, like that. But Lily.
Morg is them. But then I'm like, I don't think like
they definitely didn't make
work full time for Free League.
Yeah.
Unless I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know enough to have said this so confidently.
Not our kitchen, not our monkeys. I don't know what the saying is.
Not our kitchen, not our pot, not our pot, not our kitchen. I don't know. The use of this is me attempting the what if I just spread some slight misinformation each week until I get building engagement by people coming to correct me.
We just create our own reality.
I just be slightly wrong all the time. Cheese and cookie is our combination.
Going to make a joke about how you being wrong all the time is the Kayla Dice promise, but
I didn't need to make that offended sound on the podcast.
cheese and cookie.
Cheese and cookie.
It's not a good mix, I'll admit. It's
Ugh.
too close to each other. I think. I don't know. Have you got any ideas?
I guess the question is, are we reinterpreting one of these to not be in the sense of food?
What can we do with that? I guess
Ooh.
cookies, like an internet cookie.
Yeah, actually, my mind
like,
suddenly went, maybe
mimics
we are
them.
taking the fact that we've got food. Because cheese and cookies. Who likes both cheese and cookies? Mice.
Mice. Love mice.
I think this is a game about mice.
So, is it borrower core? Is it...
I'm thinking borrow core, because I think to some extent this is about like scavenging food.
Yeah, I
I think
think...
it's like a scavenger game.
So, I mean, I did make a game called Mousewife, where you played as a mouse borrower type of person, staying at home while your husband or partner or whatever goes out and does the borrowing. So I think we're
Yeah.
doing mouse husband.
I once on TikTok talked about a idea I had that I was just like, I can't bother to make this, but I can sum it up in a TikTok. I also did this on Tumblr. There were popular posts on both. I should have plugged myself more in both of them.
Wow.
I was like, you get like a stamp card. Like, I was going to see if I had one lying around. I don't. But you know, like a coffee stamp card.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And I was just going to be like, oh yeah, you stamp it and make a note every time you lose or misplace something. And then you, at the end, you use that to build. I think I said you use that to build your inventory for like a mouse rider character or something.
That's cute.
Who we add this in?
I do like an idea of a game where you can't like intentionally build your character any sort of way. It's like there was that End of the World game from a few years back. I never played it, but I always read the books on that one private website. And you ever read The Trove? Trove was good. Mr. Trove.
No, I think it was what, shut down like 21, right?
A couple of years ago. Anyway, yes, End of the World was a game where you played as yourself in all these End of the World scenarios, such as aliens are invading, zombie apocalypse, or whatever. And like it started at the table, so it was like suddenly your GM turns into a zombie. What do you do? And the only things you have on you are the things you have on you and like in your bag that you brought with you.
Yeah,
And you-
I feel like the rats, the mice are like the world of the game is like the world of one of the houses.
Yeah, I think
someone lives in.
it's set in the house that you're playing it in, or like
Yeah.
the library or coffee shop or whatever.
If you're doing it online, you invent a weird alt reality where you and your table all live in the same apartment or something.
Yeah.
Or your cyber mice then.
You gotta go through that's an expansion. Done.
Yeah, where you are mice, the shaky boy.
Yeah. Iconic.
Oh, mice the shaky boy.
That's what it's called. It's like a World of Darkness.
That's the cyber expansion. But yeah, so this is real things. Your equipment is either stuff you have recently lost.
Yeah, you get a lot of socks and a lot of pencils, I think, in your kit. But socks and pencils are probably quite good as like clothing or parachutes.
Yeah,
And like as weapons.
Needles if you have a
Needles,
sewer
yeah.
around. I also would say you're allowed to like use things that you've lost and then found. Like I'd absolutely be like, yeah, I misplace scissors all the time.
Yeah.
They're borrowing them. They give them back.
Yeah, exactly.
They borrow
They're
them.
only borrowers. They're not stealers.
Yeah.
I quite like this as an idea, and then just a simple sort of dice pool system.
Yeah, and I think leaning into cheese and cookie, the objective is always you're grabbing some food.
Yeah.
I think we build in like maybe that's like a fucking like management sim side of like the home life.
Yeah, like I think you've got to every session or whatever, you've got to be like looting your enough for everyone in your party to eat.
Yeah. And also maybe some dependence you have.
Yes, absolutely. I think there's maybe an aspect of like in between sessions you sort of role play the home life.
Yeah. Which I think maybe it's play by post then. Like play by post, like management sim, slice of life stuff between. And then when you come together at whatever the location is where you play this
That's
game,
where
then you
you're
play a sort
looting.
of dice pool action game for the scavenging bit.
Yeah, I think like on Discord between sessions or whatever, you are play by post. Oh, I lost this week in one channel. That could be the loot in the next session.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in another channel, you're like inventing things, or maybe the stuff in the book that it's like, oh, the daughter's got sick, so you need to steal some medicine next week, or whatever.
Yeah. I like this combination and this shifting. For them, what I imagine, like, the actual sessions are probably quite punchy. Like,
Yeah, it's simple. It's get straight to the
9
point.
minute under.
Yeah, and then like as you're playing it at different houses, like there's different risks and like environments. So like at my house, there'd be Holmes walking around. Would he be scared of borrowers? Who knows?
Yeah.
And then at your house, it's small, but
That means, like, we, the threat, are,
yeah, the
you know,
humans are more likely
yeah,
to see
there's
you.
very little places in my house humans are never in.
Exactly.
I like this. So, like, yeah, so just summing up this idea, a play-by-post management sim involving your own lost items and homes, not the cat, which then when you come together becomes like a scavenger dice pool adventure minigame
Yeah.
based in
I would
the
definitely
real
buy
life
this.
environment. Yeah.
I would see this at a convention. I'd be like, borrowers, love it, give me.
What do we call this?
I mean, I've got it in my head now that it's something : the something. I don't know, mice : the borrowers.
Oh, that feels actionable. That feels liable.
Oh,
But yeah,
well,
mice the lending.
yeah. Mice the lending. Done. Next game.
Okay, we're going back to Dragonmeet, back through time.
We're live at Dragonmeet. Introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Michael Duxbury. I am a freelance tabletop RPG designer and the organiser of London Tin, the tabletop industry networking group.
He knows how to introduce himself. Can you give me a random word?
Ox.
Ox. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ox from Michael at 10. I like how you always praise people who are good at introducing themselves.
There was a lot of people when I started doing this. There was just lots.
Yeah.
So
I, from the Tin Stall, picked up 2 games. I picked up Tending by Tori Truster, and I picked up Joe Winter's Last Orders from there.
I think Joe Winter came round and gave me a copy of Fall of Home.
Yeah. I also got a copy of Fall at Home by swapping Transgender Deathmatch.
Oh, well. If you look in Fall of Home, you'll see that I've written a bit in there. Ooh. That's why I got a free copy, collab copy.
Yeah. So we've got Ox from Michael.
Let's go
And
to the
now
next one.
our last word from Dragonmeet for now.
We're live at Dragonmeet. Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name's Eden. I'm a cast member on Pretending with Dice primarily, and also Penance RPG. And you can find us searching online for both of those.
He knows how to plug himself.
Oh yeah.
Can you give me a random word, please?
Badger.
Badger. Thank you very much.
I'm going to throw it out there. You grouped these not ideally.
Not ideally grouped, no.
No, because we've got 2 foods and now 2 animals, Ox and Badger.
I'll pick another one, okay?
Do you want to pick another one?
I'll
And
go
then we
for the
bank
next one in my
Badger for
list.
next
I'm
week?
just going to download it. I'm just going to download it and send it straight to you, not even listening to it.
Fair. Badger, I think, is good, and
Yeah,
I'm
we'll stick
happy to
with
revisit
Badger.
it in the future. But maybe Ox Badger is not ideal.
Yeah, Ox, you're in next week. I'm sorry.
We're live at Dragonmeet. Introduce yourself.
Hello! My name's Chloe. I am part of the Deck of Many Aces podcast, which is the only actual play podcast made with actual asexuals and aromantics.
Very good. Can you give me a random word, please?
Oh, blancmange.
Blancmange. Thank you very much.
I love when the word takes us to Google.
I think it's a type of, like, pudding or dessert. Or, like, meringue, I want to say.
Blancmange. Okay, blancmange is a sweet dessert. Oh, it's the little like it looks like jelly but isn't.
Like Turkish delight. I don't know.
It's partway between Turkish delight and jelly.
Oh, it's milk and cream and sugar.
You know what is funny? Is you can tell that you were doing this at like 10 to 6 because everyone who has been tabling all day only has food on the mind.
Valid.
Blancmange. So I feel we can either take this in a jelly direction or go around the food in life.
Yeah. What was the other word? Badger.
Ox.
Ox.
Badger's
okay.
on. We banked Badger for next week.
Backed Badger.
So
okay,
ox,
I thought we banked Ox. Okay.
Blancmange.
And blancmange.
Blancmange, ox.
Cool. Well, you are on a caravan. It's the oldie times. You know, that general period of the oldie times.
Yeah,
You're on a caravan. You got your oxen. And you are delivering the king's supply of blancmange, of fancy foreign jelly for the year.
Yeah.
And if this king doesn't get his blancmange, he's going to bloody go on a rampage. The only thing that keeps him calm, this blancmange. I think it's a hex crawl. You've got to look after your blancmange. You've got to look after the caravan and the oxen. Can you protect these oxen? Can you get enough food to keep them alive? It's a hex crawl. So yeah, it's a hex crawl where in the center of every battlefield, you have your little horse-drawn cart, your oxen-drawn cart, sorry. People are trying to steal this blancmange. It's the most precious thing in the world. Like, it's a king's ransom, literally. And yeah, you can upgrade your cart to protect it. People are trying to steal the blancmange. They don't care about killing you. If they have to kill you to get the blancmange, whatever. Bosh.
So I now you've said like upgrade cart. Part of me is like, is this almost a cart management game? Like maybe it's not hex crawl. Maybe it's like you've got a certain stops which are all random tables and obstacles, and you are allowed to equip your cart with like resources, equipment, people, and stuff. And each time it's kind of like, oh, the cart faces off against this encounter. Can you survive it? Can you get to the end of this trail and give the blancmange to the king?
Yeah, I do think it's like an adventure for a game. Because like my favorite part in the start of D&D adventure for 5th Ed is the very start where you're all on an ox, like you're all on a horse-drawn cart, and you just got to kind of work out why you're there. It's like the GM just tells you, you are here for a job. Why did you take this job? It's like,
Right.
So just like an extended sequence, you're just on this horse-drawn cart for the next 4 sessions.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, what else do we need to do to add to this other than giving it a name?
I think, yeah, like you're saying, there's a random table of things. Like maybe there's some towns that you have to go through. The towns are having like festivals, and if you got to find stables and stuff to look after the oxen. Can you find guards that are trustworthy? Do you want to hire people to help you look after the cart as you go? Is that going to cut into your profits?
Maybe even this map, you do like a roll and move thing, like board games for kids.
Yeah. Yeah, can you keep these oxen happy? Do you have to give them some of the blancmange?
Or some of the ingredients. Maybe you've also got ingredients for blancmange, like in case something gets lost. But like those ingredients of milk or cream, sugar, gelatin, cornstarch or Irish moss, and almonds.
Cool. Yeah, maybe you have to pick some of that on the road. Do you have to find the magical witches in the forest to help you make them? Make the new magical blancmange if you have to feed it to the oxen. It writes itself.
Yeah, it definitely does write itself. What are we calling this?
A King's Ransom.
King's Ransom. Yeah, King's Ransom. That's good.
An adventure for D&D 5th edition.
Compatible with 50, 5, or whatever, how you sell those.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm happy with that.
I'm happy with that. We've got four of our Dragonmeet contributions there. We can return to Dragonmeet next week
Yes.
when we'll revisit Badger.
And
I have broken the first rule of Game Soup.
what's the first rule of it? Have you opened a doc?
Not this week, not on the podcast, not on air.
Okay.
I won't be caught dead with a Google Doc open on air. But yesterday, I began writing a lot of what I thought like the other side of the coin could be as a full game.
Which one was that? Was that the Shadow the Hedgehog one?
Yeah. The evil counterpart game.
I was talking about that at Dragonmeet, actually.
Who to? Did we?
Just someone on the stall was like, oh yeah, last week on the pod we like made a game about Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh, right, you brought it up. I thought someone was like, I've had big thoughts on your Shadow the Hedgehog game.
No, nobody
Yeah.
came talking about it to me. I brought it up. I'm self-centered.
Yeah. I've got some figurings out of like how you're doing challenges and scenes, which I'm imagining is building your like dice pool for the individual showdowns, which form like the chapter endings. I've written some characters and also written a general description of it. It's still this thing where I need to figure out how big this game is. Like, is it zine size? In which case, I'll probably just write it, use some stock art, I reckon, and like self-publish it. Everything I do is self-published, but I mean, like, I'd probably put it out, in a couple of weeks after finishing writing it if I think it's zine size.
Rather than
and
going
then
to
maybe
Kickstarter or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, and then like just bundle it with some other things at cons. Whereas if it's big enough that it could, have a spine, maybe I'll be like, oh, maybe I kickstart this sometime in probably September next year.
Well, Zine Quest's coming up, right?
Yeah, I have an idea for Zine Quest.
Oh. Are you willing to divulge?
Well, last week I talked a bit about ritual magic for besties.
Oh, yeah,
and I had an idea of doing that with Mol as a Zine Quest thing.
That would be fun.
With Mol O'Mute, where basically I'll write it, they'll do as much art as they want, and then we just split anything we make on Kickstarter above printing. Is the idea. I need to drop a message to Mol and then also make sure I can finish this game in, I don't know, the next 2 weeks or something, so I feel comfortable, like, having it done and out of the way in February. But yeah, I might do that.
Well, look forward to Ritual Magic for Besties.
Ritual Magic for Besties. And then, yeah, I've been thinking a lot about, like, post-Dragonmeet, about, like, what I'll do next year, which also made me revisit the newsletter I wrote in January, where I said the games I was currently working on, and it's really funny because only one of them I released.
Oh, God. Do you want to go
I've
through
been
them?
productive. I just...
Should we go through them and, like, see what was the issues with each of these games? Why did they not happen?
Oh, yeah, I'm down to do that. Let me go to my newsletter.
Where can people find your newsletter, Kayla?
You can go to newsletter.ratwave.uk, and that will give you a redirect link to the Ratwave newsletter, which always releases on the 12th of the month. And I'm coming up to a year of having successfully been doing it each month. So
Nice.
I mentioned I had 3 games working before, which I also don't fucking know how to count because I had 2 games. I had 4 games, actually. No, I just didn't know how to count. One, okay, I can go through all of these and then say why, like, most of them didn't come out. Some will probably come out soon.
Yeah.
So, in my newsletter in January, I said, on the horizon, I have 3 games. Learn to count past Kayla. I need to play test before I can continue with them. So, one was like a satanic sports RPG called Demon Cage Fireball.
Yeah. Sounds like you're stealing some cool sports anime energy there, Kayla. Because, we have a copyright on the entire genre of sports RPGs.
Oh, the genre of sports. Yeah, so that game idea was, like, I basically had an idea of how to do, like, a football match in a way that I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
The mechanic I came up with was, like, you build a dice pool of, like, multiple D20s, and you keep repeatedly rolling that dice pool, and you will score if you get 20. But you've only got so many goes you have at rolling, and they start providing opportunities for other people. It's kind of me trying to mimic the way football is, where it's like, it's build up
Yeah.
peak moments of
The
excitement, and then it's
passing, building up, and then is there an interception? Is there? That's
yeah.
cool.
And I was trying to translate that thing. I think the mechanic is really good, though I sort of lost interest on figuring out like everything that would surround that, and also I needed to play test it to see if the mechanic is actually fun, and I just didn't get around to organizing that. So that's why that didn't come to fruition this
It
year.
does sound like you've got some work in there, though. Like that could, if you spent a week or so on that, end up with a zine.
Yeah, it would probably, I think, maybe be better as a zine, like as a short, oh, here's a game for playing football. And maybe I should cut all the framing of it and do it as a sort of like party game that you could pop
Yeah.
into things if you just wanted a football episode. I don't know. There's like the mechanic and stuff is there, and I thought of different ideas around everything that surrounded it, but those didn't hit me enough.
Yeah.
Jukebox Tarot is a game I've been working on for
Ever.
2 or 3 years.
Is this your what was that, Gillen book? Subnautica? No. Phonogram.
Phonogram. Is this my Phonogram free The Immaterial Girl?
Is it?
Kind of. So, Jukebox Tarot is about like creating like basically a musical theater story, using actual songs, you know.
Yeah.
I need to playtest it because I currently have it written with multiple playtests of like the way the core mechanic works. And also playtesting it is a bit annoying because I can't go to like, because it involves playing music out loud. I can't playtest this like at a convention or at like a pub or something at like an indie games meetup. I need to get people around my house.
I remember you
The
saying,
other reason.
I remember you
Sorry.
saying when we were walking around London, like you were explaining what a jukebox musical was, and then you said like you had an RPG in the works about this. Is this that?
Yeah, I still might do this. There was actually another reason I stopped working on it, because around the time I finished Terminal, like finished my side of Terminal. Oh, Terminal, I'll talk about that at the end of the podcast. Around the time I finished my stuff on Terminal, I was like, what do I work on next? And I wrote a list to myself, which at the time included like, oh, maybe I dive more into Demon Cage Fireball, maybe I work on Jukebox Tarot more, or maybe I work on Psycho Dungeon. And the idea I roughly had was, oh, this would be me looking at what I might do as a Kickstarter next. The reason I didn't go with Demon Cage Fireball was other stuff not figuring out, and yeah, it was sort of a frustration with the idea. The reason I didn't end up going with Jukebox Tarot, beyond the fact that like I've struggled to do this playtest organizing, was I saw that someone else is working on a game called Jukebox about musicals.
So get it out first.
It's like theirs is different clearly because it involves doing karaoke stuff.
Gross.
But the similarity meant I was like, yeah, I could rush this game so I get it out.
But it wouldn't be as
I
good as you wanted.
Yeah, or I could backburner it with the idea maybe I do this like, maybe not even next year, but sometime after. I'll get to see what that other game looks like, and also I may need to rename it, even though I really like the name Jukebox Tarot. But yeah, that was mainly a sort of, not, I was going to say cynical, but it was just a practical reason of why I haven't finished it.
Yeah.
Like, of like me choosing not to prioritize it, and I ended up writing Psycho Dungeon, which I'll release sometime next year.
Yeah.
We then get to 2 games, where I said I'd write 2 games in Old Gods and Young Guns. One was 30 Foes, which I put out earlier this year.
Let's go.
The other one I was saying Godslingers, which was basically just like a system for the setting that Old Gods and Young Guns is. I wrote a lot of that. I play tested it, and realistically, I could finish that like in a week and put it out. The reason I was holding off for a while is I was wondering, is this a game I could kickstart? And I sort of settled on, I don't actually think it would do that well on Kickstarter. Other people have disagreed with me. Some people have agreed with me.
Would you like my thoughts on this whole thing? Would you like my thoughts?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Have you heard of Possible Worlds?
Yes. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Tyler.
Well, their first release was a box, in my head is just called Possible Worlds, which was basically a subscription where they said, next 6 months you're going to get 6 RPGs every month, And then at the end of that, I'm going to send you a box that has all of those RPGs in as zines.
Yeah.
This sounds like you could just put these all together. Like they're all pretty much cooked, it sounds like. Or like in various stages of, in and out the oven.
Yeah.
Sounds like you could get a box set of these together, put that on Kickstarter, bing, bang, boom.
Work. Yeah. I think, that could be something to think about. I've got like a lot of ideas I want to do next year, and some of them it's a weird thing where I kind of just now need to start breaking them down into like, do I crowdfund this game, or do I finish it myself, put it on itch? My current idea for Godslingers this was a thought I had after Dragonmeet, is like, because I play tested that multiple times and worked it out. It's at the point where realistically I just need to write some examples of play,
Yeah.
do some like an edit pass on it myself. If I was taking it to Kickstarter, I'd then need to hire an editor and figure out what I do with art. But I also could, if I was just doing it as something myself that I put out on itch, could look at, I don't know, stock work or public domain stuff.
Yeah.
But I realized a lot of people liked Old Gods and Young Guns when I pitched the setting. So part of me is like, oh, maybe I finish Godslingers some point early next year. And then at conventions, I can bundle that, 30 Foes, and the setting guide all together as like, buy these free books in this one world.
Yeah.
I think it could do very well at conventions, but I'm not sure. Basically, the reason I ended up backburning it was I focused on Terminal. I at one point considered doing Godslingers as a
bigger
Kickstarter instead of Terminal, which I think I made the right call going with Terminal instead. But yeah, that was my trip through other things. So at some point in December, in 6 days in December, there'll be a newsletter out. Speaking of my newsletter, I will call my shot on what I'll do next year, and we can look at how embarrassed I am in a year. I'm not embarrassed. That's interesting.
Let's see how cringe you are. I don't know. I just think that a box set, like, you do seem to be more at home. Like, I'm just fucking putting you on blast here. You seem more comfortable in the 20, 30 pages Bosch. I don't know. Like, you seem to be enjoying writing Terminal, but you put out a lot of zines. So I'm thinking box them together, get a bit of prestige behind them,
That could work. Because I've revisited Other Side of the Coin. If that comes out as zine size, maybe I will look at. Because then it's like...
No, we've got Other Side of the Coin, we've got Godslingers, we've got, what else was there? There was Jukebox Tarot, Demon Cage Fireball, that's 4.
Jukebox Tarot, I think, could... Actually, no, it was quite small. I have no idea the size that would work out. Because its rules were quite simple, and then the playsets were there.
Yeah.
I had other ideas of zines I could do, so
I would be happy to write, freaking, what did we call it? Mice,
the lending. Mice, the lending.
And then... Yeah, I'm sure you can kick up another one.
Yeah. I've got currently 2 solid ideas of things I'm going to try and kickstart next year.
Yeah.
Which is Psycho Dungeon and Transgender Deathmatch Legend 2 Grand Slam.
Are you sticking with that?
Maybe? Do you have a better suggestion?
Well, I don't know. Like, you kept sending us really dirty subtitle names, so...
Are you like, why have you... Where's the dirt? Where's the...
Yeah, where's the... What was it? Deep Impact, or, like, the sounding...
Impact Play Edition was one. Eventually someone just told me, like... Someone said you can just call it Transgender Deathmatch Legend 2. I might cut the Grand Slam subtitle.
I think, because it's like we were saying with the... What do we call them?
Rebuilds.
The rebuilds. It does kind of make the original kind of null and void. Like, including all of the content in this new version. So I think, like, a subtitle, like, Special Edition or something.
Yeah,
or, like,
could go Grand Slam
Complete Edition or something like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That would be like a... Yeah.
And then just give people a discount for the people who had the original.
Yeah. It's a weird thing. That's also the other thing, is like Transgender Deathmatch Legend 2, I in theory want to wait until like most of the physical copies of the first game are like...
sold out, so that you're not having to...
Yeah, because if I... Like, that's the thing, like IPR have like... I think last I checked, they have like 140 left of the 200 I sent them. So, like, if I release a kick, say if I did it in January, which I won't do, also because it's not anywhere near
It would mean
done.
that there's $150 just sort of.
Yeah, I'm
I
like,
hear.
and also like, it's not even like they bought them up front. That's me having kind of cut myself off at the knees there. So, Psycho Dungeon will probably come first. I might do that thing for Zine month. Subscribe to my newsletter is, I think, what I'm saying. Oh, Terminal.
Yeah, what about Terminal? Tell us about it.
We got the last piece of art in.
Gender.
Alyssa did a last look through the actual main doc, and when she's not sick as a dog, she'll read over the stretch goals. So there's a very good chance Terminal's digital release comes, I don't know,
Christmas Day!
weeks of some.
On Sky Movies, Terminal!
That's exciting. And then some point in the new year, it will be out physically.
Woo.
This is exciting. Biggest book I ever made. Chloe had some writing in it. I think it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I'm doing a thumbs up with the camera. This is an audio-only medium. Anyway, we'll see you next week for more Attack Podcasting.
More Attack Podcasting. I'll maybe ramble less about my own.
Nah, it's fun. It's a look
fun.
behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Into
listening to Game
into
Soup.
our cupboards. Rifle through our cupboards.
Have a pantry.